Hi, I'm Ado Van Belkom, and welcome to Postmortem here on Screen. Well, tonight I'm in for a treat, and you're in for a treat. I'm in for a treat because we have with us in our studio special effects artist Adrian Stansfield, who will be making me up as a zombie over the course of tonight's film. Which brings me to the part where you're in for a treat. Tonight's film has been justly called the goriest film ever made. That's right, tonight we have the Kiwi Gore Fest known as Dead Alive. How special is this film? Well, Screen is the first television channel to broadcast this movie anywhere in the world. First ever, anywhere in the world. If you're a big horror fan, you probably know a lot about this movie already. But if you're not, I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. It's about a mama's boy named Lionel, whose mum gets bit by a rat monkey and turns into a zombie. The infection spreads, and pretty soon there's zombies running wild all over the place. But what kind of a movie is this? Well, I'll just say that Lionel solves his problem at the end with a lawnmower. The only other thing I'll say about this is that it was directed by Peter Jackson, the very same man who directed the live-action Lord of the Rings blockbuster. Now, on to the part where I get turned into a zombie. Adrian, what do you do to make someone look like a zombie? What's the finer points of zombie makeup?
A lot of what we do is a lot of research. We look at medical textbooks, police files. There's some pretty awful black market sort of books out there, videos and things like that. So it helps to know a bit about what dead people look like.
Now, have you ever traveled to a graveyard and exhumed somebody to get that really first-hand research, the fresh corpse look?
I don't want to talk about that.
Don't want to talk about that. Okay, we'll leave that unsaid. Now, where do you begin the transformation? How does it start?
Well, first I'm just going to apply some latex on you, which kind of emulates dead skin, peeling up and stuff, and exposed bone. And then we'll apply the color onto it, around your eyes and everywhere else, and then we'll mess up your hair a little bit, and you should be nice and dead.
Now, as far as color goes, am I going to come out looking gray, green, blue, or what?
I'll just go with paler shades, try to eliminate a lot of the red. Red makes you look too alive. Purples, blues, things like that. A little bit of green, maybe, you know.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to being green, because everyone knows it's not easy being green. Anyway, we've got some work to do, so sit back, relax, and prepare yourself for one of the bloodiest movies ever made, and perhaps one of the funniest horror movies ever made, Dead Alive. Okay, Adrian, I'm ready to have the inner corpse in me brought out. Here we go.
Let me get my rat monkey.
Just makeup, please. Hi, I'm with special effects artist Adrian Stansfield, and you're watching Dead Alive. Well, we're back with my special guest, Adrian Stansfield, who's made me up to look like a freshly dead corpse. Good job, Adrian. And I'll tell you, watching the end of that film with all them corpses running around, I would have guessed that, yep, Peter Jackson is the man to trust with a $240 million budget for the live-action Lord of the Rings trilogy. But you know, Lord of the Rings wasn't the first big project to be offered to Peter Jackson after Dead Alive. He was offered the job of writing and directing the infamous Jason vs. Freddy movie, but he had to decline because he was too busy with other projects. Can you imagine if he took the job of writing and directing Jason vs. Freddy, and then they offered him Lord of the Rings, and he said, I'm sorry, I can't do the Lord of the Rings, I'm busy doing my opus, Jason vs. Freddy. Oh, I shudder to think about it. Anyway, Dead Alive was shot for $3 million, and most of that, as you can guess, went to body parts and blood. I can believe that for sure. And if you're wondering, the lawnmower at the end spewed out 300 liters of blood every minute. 300 liters every minute. Talk about the bloodiest and goriest film ever made. Anyway, we're here with special effects artist Adrian Stansfield, and he's made me up to look like a zombie. And want to ask you, you've gotten this nice wound here on my cheek. How do you go about doing that? How'd you make that thing come out and look very red and fresh and painful?
Well, simply just used a bit of liquid latex, and I applied that to your skin, and then wait till it dries, and peel it off a bit, and then just paint around it, color it.
Sounds so simple, but of course it can't be. You've worked at this for a long, long time, and you've mastered your craft. In a movie like we saw tonight, where there's 30 or 40 or 50 zombies, there must be a lot of pressure on the effects artists to come up with these make up these zombies and send them out in like a assembly line fashion. Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. A lot of the time they'll have 2 or 3 artists, sometimes on one zombie. The close-ups really get the attention, of course, and the distance ones not so much.
So is this a close-up or a far-away kind of zombie look?
This would be reasonably hero piece. Yeah, it's.
Ooh, hero piece. I like that.
Yeah, it was quick, but it was also simple, and it would work well under smoke and a little bit of dark, which is.
You've also worked a lot with airbrushing. So how important is shading to get the freshly dead look?
Well, it brings in the features of the skeleton a bit. It you can sink in your eyes a little with a bit of shading, and just around. It models the skin a little bit. I used a brush for some of the veining and stuff, just because you get very fine lines. You can do that with an airbrush as well. I just find an airbrush being very quick.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun looking like this. I think I might go home and give some surprise to the neighbors. Anyway, I'm Ado Van Belkom with Adrian Stansfield. I'm your friendly neighborhood zombie movie host, and good night and pleasant dreams.